Hi, everybody. Welcome to what I think is going to be one of our best bonus sessions of the whole year. And that's because this is a topic. I'm reading your comments and kind of laughing. This is a topic of much interest, and that's because it's something that a lot of us have in common, which is that we have struggled. Some of us for decades. We have struggled to get to a place of loving relationship with our bodies. And so tonight is all about that. I'm so happy to see you guys. So I don't know if you had a chance to read the blog today, but my blog on this same topic was posted today. And I would like you to read it. I'm going to go over the 10 steps tonight. So you're not really, if you haven't read the blog yet, you're not really missing anything. And if you did read the blog, I'm going beyond the blog. So this isn't going to just be a repeat of what you already read. I'm going to try and elaborate and expand on what's in the blog to give you more information and more insight. The primary thing I want to say about tonight, and I'm so excited. I've been looking forward to having this conversation with you for months, and I know you guys have been looking forward to it as well. I'm glad you like the blog. It's my way of sort of, this is a revolution, and I'm not overstating it. I don't think. I don't know about you, so I'm going to tell you my own story, okay, tonight about my own kind of like weight journey, and I'm going to share with you why I think I'll never have to diet again. And to be able to tell you that as someone who, I've been on a diet kind of roller coaster my whole life, because when I was little, my mom was always on diets, and she always talked to us about it. And then she would have me kind of eat her diet food. In those days it was Nutrisystem and Jenny Craig and some of the older diet programs. And so I was always just kind of on those diets with my mom. And so the message that I heard growing up, and I both explicitly and implicitly, okay, the message I got growing up was it's not possible to live a normal life and achieve your ideal weight. I mean, without saying it, that's what my mom said my whole life growing up, by her example and by her words. It's not possible to live the kind of life that you want to live and enjoy food and reach your ideal weight. So I grew up thinking I'm either going to be thin or I'm going to enjoy my life. But those two things, I grew up being told those were mutually exclusive. Okay, you couldn't both enjoy your life and be thin. Now, the caveat here is I am not the skinniest person you will ever meet. Okay, I mean I think I look pretty good. I really have, what I have done has given me, what I wanted, which was some sexy curves. but I'm not the thinnest person you're ever going to meet. I don't want to be any smaller really than I am right now. So I guess what I would say to you is I have reached my ideal weight. And so this is where I want to be. If I lose too much more weight, my clothes won't fit. So, and I don't want to go buy new clothes. So this is me for life now. I have figured out how to do it. It's going to last. I'm enjoying my life. I eat and drink all the things I want to eat and drink. And I'm not a slave to a system that's broken and doesn't work. Now, it's true. And Mary Frances says, I always told it wasn't so much a diet as it is a lifestyle change. So there's a couple things I want to tell you. First of all, I think women are delicious. Okay, and I think a delicious woman has some curves. For me personally, that's what a goddess is. A goddess is not a woman who's just who isn't eating any food and looks unhealthy. To me, a goddess is got some meat on her bones. I like a little meat on the bones. So I'm never going to be the one to tell you that, oh, let's look in the book. If you're 5'2", you're supposed to be X number of pounds. Like, that's not the game that we're playing. I think you have to judge it by how do you feel? How do you feel in your clothes? How do you feel when you're naked? How do you feel when you're intimate? How do you feel when you're alone, right? I mean, do you feel attractive? If the answer is yes, then I don't want you looking at a chart that says, oh, let me see, 5'2", 110 pounds. I am nowhere near 110 pounds. If that was my goal, which is, by the way, what the textbook says I should weigh, I would have a lot more room to lose. I just don't want to be that. Okay, so the first message for you is figure out what sexy is for you. And so you might look at me and say, oh, she looks great. Or you might look at me and say, she's still, she's chunky. I mean, I don't know what you would say when you look at me, but it's more about how I feel. And so for you, I would say it's also about how you feel. And if you fit into the clothes that you love, if you feel beautiful when you're naked and when you're dressed, then I would say stop where you are. Unless, okay, and this is the other part of what I want to tell you. It's not just how you look in your clothes and how you feel. It's also how healthy you are. And so part of what we're talking about tonight, this plan that I have devised and figured out after lots of research and a lot of work, the other thing I'm going to tell you is this is also about your health. Alkaline diets are also anti-cancer diets. They are diets that support those of us with autoimmune disease. It's a diet that puts a lot of those diseases into somewhat of a state of remission, potentially. I mean, if you start reading the research, you will see that the alkaline diet is the same as the superfood diet. And these are all foods that are thought to support the central nervous system, which a lot of us have problems with. They are foods that nourish your body. They're foods that actually help you look younger. You know, turmeric and ginger and all of these herbs that we use and that we consume in our kombuchas and our drinks and through our teas and different things, these are all things that support, you know, your skin looking plumper and the appearance of fewer wrinkles. So it's all appearance and it's all health. And so if you are happy with how you look, then focus on your health. If you're healthy but you want to lose a few pounds, then focus more on that aspect of it. Does that make sense? Okay, now look, I've had 2 kids, so my body's never going to be what it was before I had kids. But my goal was to get it as good as I can get it for being in my mid-40s with 2 kids. And also keep in mind, I'm very busy and I travel. So this has to work not just when I'm here in LA and, you know, at home or in the office and I'm fully stocked with food. This has to work when I'm traveling. This has to work at restaurants. Do you know what I mean? Like, I can't go on a trip and travel and eat out and then think, well, I'll go back and start my diet again when I get back. Okay, so so Janet's saying, you know, she needs to change for her health issues, blood test, colon out of whack. Yeah, so part of why I'm here today talking to you about this, there's a siren. Part of why I'm here talking to you about this today is, you know, you and I have a lot in common. Like, we have kids, we're getting a little older, our metabolism is slowing down, and we're starting to have health issues. I mean, that's me, so I don't know if that's you, but that's what's happening over here in Athena land. And so I had to figure out something that was sustainable. And so I'm here tonight to talk to you about what that is. The best part of this, by the way, I'm going to start out by talking about energy. The bulk of what we have to talk about tonight, it's almost like the food is the last thing we have to talk about. The first thing we have to talk about is energy. Because until I cracked that code, none of the rest of it even mattered. Does that make sense? Weight challenges for women are energy issues. Because food is energy, and the things that made us gain the weight are energy. Okay, and if you read the blog, what I said is, you didn't gain weight. If you have gained weight or you're overweight, you didn't gain that weight because life is great. You didn't gain that weight because you've just been so happy. I mean, some of you have. Some people, when they're really happy, gain weight. But a lot of us have gained weight slowly over time because we're under immense amount of stress, because we're eating on the run, and a lot of us are exhausted. I mean, a lot of us wake up in the morning tired. Does that sound familiar? Do you wake up in the morning going, shit? If I'm as tired now at 7 or 7:30 in the morning, where am I going to be by 4 or 5 p.m.? And so everything I'm talking about tonight, by the way, you know that like 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock afternoon dip where you feel like you want to take a nap? This is going to fix that too. You're not going to have that 3 or 4 p.m. dip anymore. I don't have it anymore. It's a miraculous, miraculous thing. So first, let's smudge. Because I will tell you that absent a spiritual practice, absent a process for addressing spiritual issues in your life, nothing I'm going to tell you tonight will help you. This is a spiritual issue. And The one way I would say the diet industry has failed us is they have not ever addressed the fact that a lot of us, especially as empaths, our weight gain is not a food issue. It's an energy issue. Does that make sense to you? You and me, we're not so different. We are walking the same path. In this regard, I might just be a couple steps ahead of you, but you'll catch up real quick. By this time next year, you're going to be writing to me and going, "Oh my God, Athena, I never thought that I could have this much energy. I never thought that I could get back to a shape that I haven't been in so long." I mean, it makes you want to cry, because again, a lot of us have given up. A lot of us looked and said, if I have to, buy packaged food and live on that forever, I can't do it. A lot of us have looked and said, if I have to count carbs and I can't ever have a piece of bread again, or the first time you have a piece of bread, you gain all the weight back because your body's just waiting for you to eat that carb, then I can't do it. And you give up. And I gave up too. But this time you're not going to give up anymore. And I'm here. I mean, this isn't a weight loss program. And I know some of you are probably going, holistic healer, why are we talking about this? In the holistic healer program, you're going to have clients, if you don't already, and they're going to come to you for help. And one of the things they're going to ask you for help with is getting into shape, because that is, it's not a multi-billion-dollar industry for nothing. It's a multi-billion-dollar industry because we are eating foods and living in environments that are toxic, and then the only thing we can do is go and find some other toxic way to lose that weight. Yeah, so Terry says, most of my very overweight patients are victims of abuse. That does not surprise me. Again, you think about it. And one of the things, I will say this too, a lot of us are moms, right? Those early years when your children are young, I look back at those years for myself, and I have such sympathy for myself. Those were very difficult years, and they were years when my focus was on being a mother and making sure that my kids had nutritious food and making sure that my kids' needs were met. And then if my needs got met, it was after they went to bed, or I don't know when my needs got met. They really didn't get met. And so I was completely focused on making sure that my kids had what they needed. But then you sure would find me at the end of the day eating a bag of Cheetos on the kitchen floor. You know what I mean? Like, here's dinner from mama. It's like everybody else had a nice meal, and then there's me on the floor with a bag of Cheetos, or, digging into a box of See's candy or whatever, all the coping mechanisms that we do. So some of what I'm going to tell you tonight, is going to make you mad. Because the truth will set you free, but first it will often piss you off, right? That's the famous quote. So some of what I'm going to tell you tonight is not easy, okay? And so there are things that I did that required a lot of sacrifices, a lot of kind of pre-planning of things, and a lot of shifting of my own mindset. But I will say, I do wish I could go back to myself in those early years when my kids were small and put my arm around me and just say, it's going to get better. I didn't know that it would get better. And so my first message to you is, have hope. It will get better. Yeah, no, look at you guys. Maybe for Tracy, it's pizza goldfish. It's whatever's in the flipping cabinet, right? But every time you open a bag and eat something that's prepackaged, here's what I want you to think about. Every time you do that, you are pouring acid into your system. That is not an exaggeration. Every time you eat something that is prepackaged, all you are doing is pouring acid into your body. What does acid do? Acid can burn a hole in metal. So what do you think it does to your digestive system? What do you think it does to your central nervous system? What do you think it does to your brain? And so it's time for you, wherever you are, and I know that I'm speaking to different people at different points in your life, but it is time for you to love yourself enough to say, I'm going to make some different choices. And I'm going to make choices that change the pH of my body because, okay, and here's why we're really here, okay? Forget looking cute, although goddesses want to be cute. But forget that. We are here because 90% of Americans are highly acidic, anywhere from highly to extremely acidic on the pH scale. 90% of Americans are acidic. That means the environment in their body is toxic. If you're part of the 10%, I mean, that's a very small proportion of the people in our country. So we need to change that. Now, acidic environments do certain things. Acidic environments, first of all, the rampant rise in the rates of autoimmune disease and cancer in our country can be almost directly linked to the amount of acid that's present in our body. If you have an acidic body, you are a host for disease. Disease will be very happy to come and live in you if your body is acidic. Isn't it incredible? I mean, if you think about it, acid, think about stomach ulcers, right? If you've ever had a stomach ulcer, that is your body so far across that spectrum, all the way to toxically acidic. If you have a stomach ulcer, that is a divine sign to you. It's game over. This is your own body saying it's already eaten through the soft tissue. How many more signs do you need, right? And I don't know about you, but I mean, almost everybody in my family has had an ulcer at some point. If you want to know where you are on the pH scale, if you go to Amazon.com and you buy, there are pH test strips. You might be able to get them other places, but I like Amazon Prime. And my Amazon account actually supports my kids' school. It makes a small donation every time I make a purchase, so I just use Amazon. But you can find them other places too. If you go to your local health food store, Whole Foods, you're going to find pH testing strips. Just pee on your little strip, almost like a pregnancy test, except you're looking to see. And then what you do is the bottle has all the colors, and so you just hold up your little test strip and match it, and you can actually chart your progress on the pH scale and really celebrate that, like every day getting less acidic. You want to be sure to, it's Amazon Smile. You want to be sure to test yourself at the same time every day. So I test myself every other day when I first wake up. So that first good pee of the morning, that's a great time to test your pH levels. And so I test first thing in the morning, and it works. Okay. It's interesting. So ketones are different, okay? And so ketones are a measure of how you're digesting fat and carbs in your body. So it's a different, you test for ketones when you're on the Atkins diet, when you're doing, a very low carb diet. And so we're going to talk about that tonight too, because if you want to know my opinion, and by the way, everything I'm telling you tonight is my opinion. To kind of take it for what it's worth. And here's the thing, if I teach you one thing tonight about something that changes the way you look at food, then that's a win for me. I mean, I don't expect to change your complete life tonight. But here's one thing I want to tell you. The low carb revolution of the 80s and 90s has failed us. I mean, really think about it. How many people do you know who have not eaten any carbs for 10 or 20 years and have never gained their weight back? I don't know anybody. I mean, I know people who try to be low carb and then they fall off the wagon. They try to be low carb and they fall off the wagon. And they're gaining and losing the same 5 or 10 pounds for 20 years. But their skin doesn't look good. They're not aging well. And it's like, do you know that the low carb diet is highly acidic? I mean, meat is acidic. So it's very challenging. If you're eating all of this, animal-based protein, that's going to leave your body in a highly acidic state. So now it's paleo, right? So everybody's saying, oh, paleo. Here's the thing. In my experience, this is the only way to eat that works. And it doesn't just help you lose the weight, it takes the weight off in proportion. It's kind of a miracle thing. But it also doesn't leave your body craving. Like, I don't crave anything. That's the other piece. Like, when I was trying to count my carbs, I was craving stuff all the time. I wanted cookies and I used to fantasize. I'd be eating my steak or my eggs or whatever and just thinking like, oh, I wish this was a bowl of pasta. When you're eating the way I'm going to talk to you about tonight, you can still have your pasta. You just can't have it often, and you have to look at different kinds of pastas and try and figure out how to create a dish. So now I kind of customize it. So instead of just having a bowl of pasta with tomato sauce, because tomatoes are alkaline, so they're okay. Instead of just having a bowl of pasta with tomato sauce, I incorporate a lot of vegetables, and I try to eat mostly vegetables and very little of the pasta. So I still can have a bite or two, but I'm not sitting there going, oh, I'm so deprived. If I want pasta, I have pasta, but I still incorporate all the vegetables, if that makes sense. No cravings. So are you ready for this? Are you ready to talk about this? I think this is going to be really good for us. Okay. I'm reading your comments too. I know. I mean, so if you're, and you have to really decide. This is the first thing I'm going to tell you tonight. You have to look at yourself or look at me and say, I'm ready to experience my life in a different way. I've had enough. I've had enough. I've had enough yo-yo dieting. I've had enough spending money on crap that doesn't work. I've had enough low self-esteem. I've had enough bad health issues. I've had enough cancer. I've had enough bad aging of my skin. I've had enough low energy. I've had enough. I've had enough mood swings. No mood swings. Because you're stabilizing your system. If you've had enough, then tonight's the night. And I'm here to help. And I will tell you this. So this is not I'm not like creating a weight loss program for you. It's not my intention at all. I am kind of here as a sister to you, though, to kind of cheer you on. So in our groups, if you have questions, I'm here to answer those questions. There are people in the groups who are following similar protocols and diets and ways of eating. And so we're here to support you. The fire department is sirening in the background because they're here to support you. But in all truth, we are here to support you because when you are healthy, everything else falls into place. Your health is the most important thing. I mean, to me, I want you to be healthy. Above all, I want you to be healthy. I want you to live a long time. And you know what else really shifted this for me? I'll be really honest with you. My mom has been really sick for the last couple of years. If you've been with me a long time, you know that. She's still alive, but she's really sick. And she's sick of her own doing, right? Smoking her whole life, never eating anything in alignment with a healthy way of being. And she has spent most of the last few years in the hospital, unable to move, unable to breathe. And I watched her and I told her, I had her over for dinner this weekend. And I said, you know what, Mom, I hope you know that I have watched you and you have inspired me to take control of my health. I am not going to spend the last years of my life in a hospital bed, unable to move. I am not going to spend the last years of my life looking out a hospital window and wishing I could play with my grandchildren. This shit stops now. Do you know what I mean? And I told her, I said, I want you to know that I love you and I have watched you suffer. And it is absolutely not worth it to me anymore. If I can find a way to enjoy my life, but change the chemistry of my body to be in alignment with better health, then that's absolutely what's happening. And she was like, it's too late for me, which on some level it is. But I'm really grateful to know that my grandchildren are going to have a mother who's putting their health first. That shit stops now, right? And if you've had the same experience where your parents are getting older and they're sick and they're in hospital beds and you look and say, why didn't you take care of yourself? Why didn't you? And the reality is for my mom, I mean, for her whole generation, my mom would say, it's terrible, right? But my mom would say, it was all about you guys. You know what I mean? And again, think of me on the floor with the Cheetos. I was heading down that same road. I was heading down the same road of martyrdom and sacrifice for my kids. As long as my kids were happy and my kids were healthy, I don't need to care about myself. Until I saw my mom spending the last best years of her life in a hospital bed when she could have turned it around. She could have turned it around. That's right. But you have to decide, and tonight's your night. Okay. So there's a couple things I want to talk to you about before we actually get into the nuts and bolts of process. And I also want to know what your question, Teresa lost her mom in November from the same things. It's hard, but you know what we can do to honor the next generation? We can learn from their example. It's not an accident that the people in your life are having these problems. They're having these problems almost as a classroom for you so that you will see and learn and make a different choice. And so everybody in your life is mirroring to you an example. Whose example are you going to follow? And like I said, I'm not giving you, I don't know exactly everything, how to do everything. This is not I'm not a diet expert. I just happen to stumble upon something and I feel like it's life shattering. Right? Yeah, we see you, Teresa, and we love you, and we're sorry for that loss. And now what you can do is honor that loss by changing your life. And I know you already are, but I'm glad you're here. Yeah, well, why don't we, if you guys want to create a group, I would love that. I don't have the energy or the bandwidth right now to manage another group, but if you want to create a group, I would be happy to be in that group with you and to provide you support and feedback. Maybe I could pop in, my hair's kind of all over the place. Maybe I could pop in once a week or so and just give you feedback and encouragement and cheerleading and stuff, and resources. But I actually think it'd be really great if one of you wanted to admin a group for that. So do it. Listen, you guys, we need this. I mean, the radical response to me putting this out there for you is proof positive that we, as a generation of women, are making a different choice about how we want to experience the later years of our life. And I'm in my 40s. You might be in your 50s or 60s. You might be in your 20s or 30s. Can you imagine if you had learned this when you were in your 20s, for God's sake? I mean, seriously, can you imagine if you had got all this information when you were young? So if you're in your 20s, don't go, well, I don't know, and is it too early for me? It is not too early for you. The reason that what I'm going to tell you tonight works is that it wasn't so long ago that all we had access to was very simple animal protein, fruits, vegetables, and legumes, and sort of, basic components of bread. But the bread that our ancestors used to make and eat looked nothing like the bread that we eat today. I mean, the amount of gluten that's in the bread that we eat today is not what our grandmothers in Sicily and in Athens and other places around the world, it's not the bread that our grandmothers used to make. It's not the bread that our grandmothers used to eat. So we can't even compare the carbs that we eat today to the carbs of the past, because everything is over glutenized. I mean, it's true. And so when you start looking at all of this, you can't even say, well, but my grandma used to eat bread and she didn't gain weight. Your grandma didn't eat a loaf of bread a day, and your grandma didn't eat crappy, processed, diseased bread. She made her own bread. The wheat was different. Everything was different. Everything was different. Look at this. So I love that. I'm 22 and I've needed this for years. Facebook might push back on you girls if you name your group the Shit Stoppers. I personally endorse that. I think that's a fantastic name, but you might do like the S Stoppers or something, because Facebook can get a little controlling with the language. Okay. So first, before we get into nuts and bolts, I'm going to talk to you about energy. Okay, and balance. And it's funny, by the way, everything I'm telling you tonight, by the way, in Hollywood and with like celebrities and stuff, like big celebrities that you would recognize, they're all doing this. I mean, and they actually take alkalizing supplements. I haven't done anything like that because I really wanted to prove to myself I could do this without any supplements. So I have not used like prepackaged supplements. I've used apple cider vinegar and kombucha, but other than that, I have not used anything. Nothing. So if you find alkalizing supplements that you like, why not? But I really wanted to prove to myself that I could do it without all that stuff. So you can. The Shitty Pickle Stoppers. I like it. I'm into it. I think you guys are creative and fun. Okay, so weight gain and the ability or the inability to lose weight is an energetic issue. So I want to start right there. And please add me. If you create a group, please add me. I want to be in your group. So weight is an energetic issue. If you are having trouble losing weight, there's one of two reasons why. Either A, you are holding on to other people's stuff that doesn't belong to you, because energy, weight is energy. All matter is energy, right? So your weight is energy too. So if you can't lose weight, there's probably one of two reasons. Either A, you're holding on to other people's stuff. And by the way, other people's stuff shows up as fat over time. So when you're taking on other people's, whatever they're giving you, their problems, their concerns, if you're taking that on personally, it's going to start showing up over here, and then it's going to start showing up over here, and all of a sudden it's on the back of your butt, right? I mean, that energy will stick to you in the form of fat. The other reason you might have trouble losing weight is because your body is too acidic. And at a certain point, unless you alkalize, those pounds are not coming off. So how many of you have said, oh, you know what? I don't know, Athena. I hardly eat anything. I mean, you guys write into me all the time. How did you do this? I hardly eat anything. I eat really small meals. And yes, I have my coffee, and yes, I have my red wine, but I hardly eat anything, and the weight's not coming off. And I'm exercising. That is acid. It is not going to come off until you alkalize, so the pH spectrum goes from acidic to alkaline, okay? And 90% of Americans are right over here, acid, acid, acid. Very few Americans are over here, alkaline, 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 right? So if if you're over here with this highly acidic environment, it's going to be virtually impossible for you to lose weight. I don't care how little you eat. You could write to me and say, all I eat is a small bowl of white rice, 1 soda, and 1 cup of coffee a day. Do you know if that's all you ate, you still wouldn't be able to lose weight? Because those are 3 of the most acidic foods you can possibly put in your body. White rice, alcohol of any kind, coffee or tea, and soda. And if you add a bag of chips to that, even if that's all you eat, even if it's 500 calories a day, you will not lose weight. You just won't. Crazy, right? It's crazy. Yeah, so Karen says Alkalife drops work for her, and so she's now neutral. So if there are these kind of fun, like this is where we can really have a good time in the group. Like if there are little like quick tips and products and stuff that you guys like, I haven't tried them, so I can't endorse them. But if you guys like them, you guys can share them with each other and links and stuff, and maybe get a conversation going there. Okay, so if weight is an energetic issue, then before we even talk about food, okay, we have to talk about how to manage the energetics of weight. The first thing you have to think about, and I really want you to try and put some of these things into practice. So this is where you should take a couple notes, okay? Every night before you go to bed, this is step number 1. And keep in mind, I started this process last June. So it is a year almost to the day for me since I started doing what I'm telling you. And I have lost almost 34 pounds. So it took me 52 weeks to lose 34 pounds. That means there were lots of weeks where I didn't lose any weight and plateaued. I still have a feminine cycle. So Sue's asking a great question. She said, why did my husband drop 40 pounds on the Atkins diet? First of all, men do better on Atkins than women do. And second of all, anybody will lose weight on Atkins. I mean, a lot of weight. If you go on Atkins and you're strict, you can lose 20, 30, 100, 200 pounds on the Atkins diet, almost effortlessly. But you're creating an acidic environment in your body. And so when you stop or when you start to eat a carb, your body is ready to pounce. And it converts that carb that you eat directly to sugar. And then that sugar, unless you burn it, gets stored as fat. And so what happens to most people who are on the Atkins diet is they actually gain their weight back and sometimes plus additional pounds. Now, if you can give up carbs and never, ever, ever eat another carb, you will lose weight on the Atkins diet and keep it off forever. I'm Greek, and so bread is one of our food groups. So the idea that, just the mere idea that I would never have a loaf of bread again is sort of like heart sickening. I think that's not even living life to me, but I'm Greek. So, dipping bread in olive oil and all of those things, that's life to me. That is life. Okay. So the number one thing you have to do before we even talk about food, ready? And we're going to talk about food tonight. The number one thing, Cynthia's like, German here, bread's a food group. It's a utensil, Kristen Meyer says, for Greeks and Italians. Listen, you're never going to pry that piece of bread out of my hand. It's not happening. And also, I will also eat Cheetos sometimes. I had some Cheetos last night. So I'm not perfect. I'm human. And I needed a diet plan where if I had Cheetos last night and some bread this weekend, I wasn't going to gain any weight back. And that's exactly what happened. I had Cheetos last night. I actually was down a pound today. I had 3 or 4 slices of bread this weekend because it was Memorial Day and we're eating with my family, and I still lost a pound today. If your body is alkaline, it doesn't matter. The minor hiccups, that one meal or that beautiful bread with the olive oil that you want so badly is going to have no impact on you. Isn't that incredible? It's about balance, okay? It's about balance. Okay, so if you think about it, on that pH scale, isn't it our goal energetically? Think about, we work with kyanite to try and achieve chakra balancing. Isn't it our goal to be in a state of balance? And that's exactly what you want on that pH scale. You don't want to be super acidic, super alkaline, and you don't want to be super acidic. You want to be somewhere in the middle. When I test with test strips and I'm right in the middle, that's a win to me. And so I'm not looking to be completely alkaline. I want to be in the middle, which means I eat a little bit of acidic food. I still love a glass of red wine. I don't do it every night, but I still like it occasionally with dinner. So I would say I probably have red wine 3 times a week ish. Okay? But that's it. That is it. So if you want to have 2 glasses of wine every day, this is not going to work for you. That's not the plan that we're talking about. But I have not given up bread. I have not given up red wine because those are 2 of my loves. I have given up soda. I am mostly off caffeine. I still have half a cup of coffee in the morning with my husband because that's just a ritual for us every morning while the kids are getting ready for school. So I do that. But honestly, and here's what's going to blow your mind, because I'm a coffeeaholic. I love coffee. I love the ritual of coffee. I love the smell of coffee. I can't even drink a whole cup anymore. It tastes like battery acid to me. I mean, I have so shifted my system that when I mean, literally my husband will tell you I throw away half the cup every morning. So now he's not even pouring me a full cup anymore. I can't finish it. That's from somebody who has been drinking coffee, I mean, since I was 16, 17 years old. So a habit of 30 years, and I don't miss it because I can't finish it. And so here's what I want to tell you about this. A couple things. Here's what I noticed in my body. First of all, no cravings for sugar or carbs. Second of all, I don't miss coffee. Third of all, because of the apple cider vinegar, I can't finish my meals, not all the way. So I used to be a clean your plate kind of girl because when I was growing up, my parents were wartime people, so they always told us eat everything on your plate. I've always kind of been able to finish everything on my plate. I actually can't eat more than half of a meal when I go out now. So because I pretty much eat about this much food at a sitting. I probably have about 4 small meals a day, not more food than that. And my digestive system is clear. I was having all kinds of digestive problems. I mean, every time I would eat a meal, my stomach was churning. I had acid reflux. Gone. Gone, right? So here's something fun to think about. What I do now when I go to a restaurant is I either order a small portion like an appetizer, or I just have them package up the other half of my food, and that's lunch the next day. Does that make sense? And what I've realized is, and maybe this is obvious to you, but I'm just telling you some things that were not obvious to me. What I realized was I don't have to eat it all right now. Like, I don't have to eat it all right now. I could eat some of this tomorrow. You know what I mean? And especially if it's a wonderful meal, then maybe I would enjoy some of this tomorrow. But I used to think, oh, I got to eat it all right now, and I don't know why I felt that way. It was almost like a I don't know why I felt like I had to eat it all right now, but I don't. And so maybe I eat a third of it now or half of it now, and then package the rest of it up. You have beautiful leftovers. I love leftovers, by the way. I think food always tastes better the next day because the herbs and the seasoning and everything have time to sort of like marinate in. So I'm a big one on leftovers, and why not do that? That's another thought. Okay, so if you're in Magical Sabbatical, we've been talking about holograms. Okay, one of the things I went through with my whole process, and we may not get through everything tonight, but we're going to try. One of the things I did was create a hologram of my ideal weight. Okay, and then I put that hologram out there, and I analyzed it. I looked at myself at my ideal weight, and I analyzed what was happening in my body. And I actually asked my guide, so in order to create this ideal weight, what does my body need? Okay, so this is another way where you can use holograms. You can actually create holograms of ideal scenarios, right? Like me at my ideal weight, where I feel healthy and happy. It's not textbook whatever number, but I feel good. I created a hologram of that, put that sort of out there to the universe, and then asked my guides, what is the distance between me and her? Okay, like how do I get from where I am today to where she is right now? And so a lot of this came in guidance during that process of asking, how do I reach that? So you might even start by projecting a hologram of your ideal self and then dialogue with your guides. So what's the difference between me and her? What do I have to do to get from here to there? Before you go to bed every night, you need to close your eyes and you need to unplug. And I'm really being serious about this. Might sound crazy to you. This is where the diet industry has failed us because they're not doing this part. Every day, all day long, when you talk to people or you interact with people, you are establishing energetic cords between you and them. okay? But their stuff doesn't belong to you. Their projections, their energy, their anxieties, their worries, their frustrations. As soon as you start to communicate with somebody, a cord gets created. If you don't sort of unplug and send those energies back at the end of the day, what do you think happens? You know, it's not, the energy is not going to go somewhere unless you create an opportunity, a channel for those energies to move somewhere else. So every night before I go to bed, I close my eyes. And I'm a visual person, so I imagine just all the little cords into me all day long. And we establish cords at the solar plexus, which is why but here's the thing. Everybody gains weight here. Everybody gains weight there. It's not just you, it's not just me. Everybody gains weight here. Why is that? That's where energetic cords get attached. Think about it. That's where the cords get attached. So every night before bed, I close my eyes and I imagine just sort of like pulling all those cords out. I mean, literally just, you can imagine just sort of pulling your shirt, pulling all those cords out, and I send all of that energy back to its source. And you can even, if you really want to do this as a fun, long meditation, you can even go through your whole day and say, okay, at 10 o'clock today, I met with Richard. I'm going to send Richard's cord back to him with love and light. And then at 11, I met with Joanne. I'm going to send Joanne's cord back to her with love and light. And then this afternoon, I met with some students, and so I'm going to send their energy back to them with love and light. And what I do is I call my energy back from other people. So I send everybody else's energy back to them, and I pull my energy back into me. And what that does is it makes sure that you're not holding anything here that doesn't belong to you. Does that make sense? This is like no joke. I don't think that my results would have been what they were if I just started drinking apple cider vinegar, but still let people attach a million different shitty cords to me. Do you know what I mean? So nope, cords out. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Sending your cords back to you, calling my cords back to me every night before bed. Okay, that's like the number one thing you have to do. We'll get to the food part in a minute, but I really want you to hear this part because this is the part that I think the diet industry has not gotten right. They're not addressing a couple of realities. You are an empath. You wouldn't be in the Holistic Healer program if you were not. You are an empath with psychic and intuitive gifts. What that means is you pick up on everyone's everything all the time. You have to send that back and unplug it and remove it, or it's going to start bulking up here like fat. That's number one. So that's one of the realities that the diet industry is not looking at. They're not like, why? Why do women gain all this weight here? And they, obviously there's cortisol levels and stress and a lot of, adrenal issues, and all of that creates bulk around the middle. And yes, your hormones do create bulk around the middle too. But that didn't seem like enough of an explanation to me. But given the energetic cords attached here, boom, 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 send it back. That's the number one thing you have to do. The second thing you have to do, truly, is you have to create balance in your life. You have to balance work and play. You have to balance, laughter with sorrow. You have to balance, everything, your emotions, your body chemistry. You have to balance it all. You have to get back in balance. A lot of us are out of check, right? We're all acid, no alkaline. We are all stress, no peace. We are all sadness, no laughter. We are all work, we are no play. We are all kids, we are no mama. You know what I mean? And that, nobody wins. Nobody wins in that situation. So I'm looking to you tonight again. I feel like a little bit of your sister right now, looking at you and saying, this isn't working. You have to stop right now. And you have to stop today. You can't say, well, I'll do this next week. No. You have to stop and say, I need mama time. I need quiet time. I need to send other people's energy back to them. I need to start working with some filtering tools so that as an empath, I'm not just taking everybody's stuff in. And I have to set an intention to create balance in my life. Then that's an intention that you have to set. And set it tonight. I mean, we're under a waxing moon, okay? So this is a great time to be building and creating and setting intentions and exploring and allowing and receiving. I mean, that's all the waxing moon is about. That's true. Lisa said, I give so much to my kids that I eventually shut down. And again, who wins there? And I'm somebody who wants to be a good mom. You know what I mean? I think all of you are too. So I don't want to look back and have my kids say, oh, she was a shitty mom, right? So I'm constantly asking myself, how can I be a better mom? What else can I do for my kids? Or how can I be a better wife? What else can I do for my partner? How can I be a better daughter? What else can I do for my parents? I never stop and say, I want to be a good me. What can I do for me? I don't do that. And it sounds so dumb, and yet it's everything, because even the intention to create some space for yourself is important. So we're going to talk about how to ritualize your food tonight. This way of eating has to become a ritual for you, and I want you to carve out the time. And again, this isn't going to cost you hardly anything. I mean, it's not like you have to go get special food, but I would like you to maybe get yourself a special glass or a special plate, or like a special bowl on your counter where you're going to start to store all of your alkaline vegetables and stuff. And I want you to think about the process of cutting up your food and preparing your food and eating your food as a ritual, and a ritual of love for you. I mean, if I could invite you, home with me tonight, I would sit you down and I would make you a cup of turmeric tea, and I would slice you up an avocado and put some cayenne pepper on it. And, I would lay all that out for you. You have to do it for you. You have to care enough about you to make this into a ritual. Okay? Okay, so food is energy, and your ideal weight is a vibration. I'm going to say that again. Food is energy, and your ideal weight is a vibration. Okay, so what do I mean by that? Everything, all matter is a vibration. It's a frequency. And you can attach to certain frequencies, just like you can attach the frequency of happiness, and you can attach the frequency of peace, and you can attach the frequency of love. You can also attach to the frequency of ideal health for your body. And so a lot of us spend all this time trying to create more love in our life or create more abundance in our life. But are you trying to create more balance in your systems? Are you trying to create, more, healthier digestion for yourself? Are you trying to create more alkalinity in your body? Like, is that part of your intention setting? And I think it should be just as important to you as love, abundance, all of the other things that you're trying to call in your life. Because the reality is, without your health, nothing else matters. Okay, so food is energy. Food is energy. There's no doubt about that. And your ideal weight is a vibration. It's a frequency. And so all you have to do, food is energy, your ideal weight is a frequency. All you have to do is click into that frequency. And that's why I use the hologram. Okay, I created the hologram of my ideal self so that I could see the frequency that she was in. And I realized it's a higher frequency. Okay, being overweight is a low frequency. When you want to lose weight, you have to start to vibrate higher. And what that does, it's beyond weight loss. It does produce weight loss, but it also produces peace and happiness and contentment and joy. Those are also high vibration. So it's all connected, is what I'm telling you. Being heavy and being sad and being lonely and being frustrated and being discouraged and being angry, those are all the same. Being healthy and fit and happy and peaceful and joyful in your life is all the same. And so we just have to get you here. Does that make sense? By the way, when you go to a hospital, all you are looking at are people with the lowest possible frequencies. It's true. In my lifetime, what I would love so much is to do an experiment. All I need is one hospital that's willing to play with me for a little while. But I have this dream of actually putting quartz into hotel or hospital rooms, because quartz automatically raises your vibration. If you've always wondered why I insist on having so much quartz around me all the time, it's because quartz automatically raises your vibration. You can't be down here with quartz around you all the time. Quartz does this. So I have this kind of inkling, if you will, that if I could get enough quartz into hospitals, I could actually shift the frequency that patients are living in, especially in like the intensive care units and other places where there's chronic disease, right? Because inflammation and acidity leads to chronic disease. I just have a feeling, or nursing homes, I just have a feeling if I could amp those places up with enough quartz, I could actually shift the frequency and the vibration of those spaces. But we'll see. Okay, so we talked about the fact that 90% of the American diet is acidic. So if you are among the 90%, then it's almost like the chips are stacked against you. And I'm only saying that not to make you mad, but I'm saying that because you need to hear the truth. The chips are stacked against you if you are acidic. And so the first step is to acknowledge that food is energy and that ideal weight is a frequency, and you need to align to that frequency, and then you need to shift and balance. Right? Oh, Norma, we're going to be thinking about your mom. A lot of us have moms with health problems, and it's not a coincidence. And they're holding up the mirror to us to say, are you going to do it differently? And again, we can talk about beauty and self-esteem and stuff, but it goes way, way, way beyond that. Okay. So I'm going to give you a quick list, and I don't want you to write this down. I want you to listen, because I'm going to put this in your group. Okay. So we're going to talk about what to eat and what not to eat. Are you ready? But please don't write this down. I have my notes here. Just listen to me. I will put this information in your group. Okay. Let's start with what you need to shop for. And you know what? When you go to the grocery store and stock up on everything I'm talking about, make that a ritual. Let that be a really fun shopping experience for you, because you are taking control of your health, and that's where your self-esteem is going to come from. And every time you don't get sick, every time you lose a pound, we're all going to celebrate with you, because you're making a dramatic difference in your life. And when you feel better and when you're healthier, the rest of us, because we're all connected, it affects everybody. Even me going through this transformation, even before I talked to you about it, people were like, whoa, what's going on? Because you could see that I was doing something, and it's sort of like, okay. And if you can't get to the grocery store, there are places, you can use Amazon to ship some groceries to you. I do need you to get fresh fruits and vegetables. You might want to consider using your local farmer's market, or see if you have friends who have trees. Like I have a friend who has an avocado tree, and she's so generous. She lets me, because they're just falling on the ground. She doesn't like them. So if you have friends with trees, that might be a good way for you to go to. Okay, here's what you should eat. Are you ready? Just listen. Don't write this down. One of the best foods for you is artichoke. It is alkalizing. I love artichokes. You can actually, if you like to dip your artichoke in a little bit of fat, what I do is I melt just a little bit of butter and I add olive oil to that with salt and pepper, and that's what I use to dip my artichoke in. Artichokes are good for you. They're not always in season, and sometimes they're hard to find, but when they are, that can actually be a full meal for you, one of your 3 or 4 small meals a day. So artichokes are the business. And like I said, if you want to dip, because I'm a dipper, I like sauce, so I wasn't really willing to give up butter completely. Butter is acidic. But if you just melt a little bit of butter and add extra virgin olive oil to it, you'll have a little bit of that. So mayo, of course, we shouldn't be having mayo, right? Mayo is a little bit acidic. It's not terrible, but it's a little bit acidic. But you can try it. You can start to experiment. Hummus on artichokes is really yummy, and hummus is alkaline. So that's another kind of tip that you can use to make it better. Well, Delina, so I do small meals. So a big artichoke with butter and extra virgin olive oil would be like a lunch for me, maybe. If it's a small artichoke, then you're going to have some protein or something else to go with it. But out here in California, sometimes we get these really big, meaty artichokes where the heart is like this big around. That's a fistful of food. So that actually is one meal for me. So I'm going to read off the list of foods you need to get. Okay, artichokes, avocado. I eat 1 a day. My kids eat 1 a day. My husband eats 2 a day. There's nothing better for your skin. It fights wrinkles. It moisturizes your hair from within, and it alkalizes your body. And by the way, I eat avocado for breakfast. It's my best breakfast. I put a little cayenne pepper on mine because I like a little kick, and cayenne's good for your metabolism. It gives you a little bit of a boost, and so that's what I do. Beets, broccoli, cucumbers, garlic. You should be eating fresh garlic every single day. And one of the things you can do is actually take fresh garlic and mix it with your butter, extra virgin olive oil mixture, and dip your artichoke into that, and that way you're sort of mixing your foods. Kale and spinach, ginger, red onion, zucchini, carrots, navy beans and butter beans. I'm a huge bean person. My brother's actually a raw vegan, and he makes the most incredible beans. This is one of the only things he cooks, but he makes them in the slow cooker. I will actually get his recipe for you, and I will post it in the group if you're interested in knowing how he seasons and flavors his beans without using meat products or animal products. Pumpkin, coconut, apple cider vinegar, almonds, tofu, and figs. Also good for you, lemons and limes, bell peppers, especially red, celery, eggs, apples, peaches, blueberries, and raspberries. So that is the complete list. That's basically with some lean protein. I eat animal protein 2 to 4 times a week, depending. And I eat beef and chicken. So I am not vegetarian or vegan, but it has not affected my weight loss at all, not even in the slightest. So I still eat meat 2 to 4 times a week. I still drink a glass of red wine 2 to 4 times a week. I still have half a cup of coffee in the morning every day. So this is me not being perfect. Okay, is that helpful? Yeah, and soy in moderation is fine. Now, I did not like tofu until I started experimenting with it. When you pan fry tofu in a little soy sauce, you don't want too much of that, but a little soy sauce and a little miso, you pan fry it, and then you serve it with vegetables. It does have and a little bit of fresh garlic too is really good in there. It's really good. But I had to cook it myself. I really didn't like, when I go to restaurants, the tofu usually is kind of gummy, and the texture of it would freak me out. But when I cook it and sort of pan fry it, it's delicious. A little extra virgin olive oil. Okay, here's what you can't have. I'm sorry. I didn't make the rules. But you can't have these things. Ready? Yeah, and by the way, too much soy is not good. There are some of those diet programs that are selling you prepackaged crap. It's all soy. I won't get into it, but you can do your own research. Too much soy leads to all kinds of bad things in your body. So a little bit of soy is okay. I love edamame, which is an alkaline food. By the way, miso soup is not alkaline. Miso soup is, according to all the books, is acidic. So I love miso, but I did give it up. But when I go to a Japanese restaurant, I love to have edamame. You can have a little bit of sushi, right? You just don't want too much rice and so forth. But anyway, that's for that. Here's what you can't have. Ready? You have to give up soda. I'm sorry, but you just have to. You have to give up soda. Soda is the worst offender. You might as well just be pouring a can of acid into your body. So every time you go to pick up a soda, just imagine me going like, here's my kombucha. You're picking up your can. Imagine me just like slapping your hand a little bit. I wouldn't really slap you, but I would take it away from you. I know. No soda. Now, you're asking about ginger ale. I think, again, moderation, right? And ginger ale isn't as bad as, especially you don't want anything with aspartame. All of your artificial sweeteners are neurotoxins. They are neurotoxins. They are literally killing your brain. It is disgusting to me that people don't know that. Now, do I still have Diet Coke once in a while? I do. I have to say, I do. Because I was hooked on it for a long time, but not nearly as often as I used to. I have dialed it back to the point where we don't even buy soda anymore. I think we bought one case of it a couple of months ago, and we're kind of working through it at the house, and nobody buys it, and so we don't eat it. Okay, so no soda, no coffee, no tea, unless it's decaf, right? So all of your herbal teas are beautiful and welcome, and in fact, you should be amping that up. You can make your teas with alkaline water, like a Kangen water. You can even get an alkaline water pitcher on Amazon. So all you do is, literally just fill it up from your sink, from your faucet, and it will actually filter it through and create alkaline water for you. So if all else fails, get yourself an alkaline pitcher. You can't have dried fruit. That was a huge bummer for me because I love dried fruit. Your green tea is very alkaline. You should be drinking green tea every day. Your Tulsi tea, alkaline. Okay. Now remember with the coffee thing, I told you I still drink half a cup every day because that's my husband's and my ritual, and this has to work for my life. I can't go start something that I can't maintain, right? My goal is to live this way for a long time. Green tea is great for you. No more white rice, no more white pasta. Again, I'm sorry, but no, none of that. No processed food, no dairy. Dairy is highly acidic. Now I want you to imagine for a minute, like as I'm telling you all this, no bread, no processed meat, no cheese. Pepperoni pizza is like pouring a can of acid into your body. Add to that a beer. This is the American diet. A cheeseburger with, beef on a white bun with a beer. That is the American diet, and yet it's killing us, and we don't look at it. Now, there are vegan cheeses. I will tell you my secret. Are you ready? No, hold on. Don't give up yet. If you read the books, it will tell you that goat cheese is not good for you. Okay. But I was like, I got to have some cheese. I'm Greek. Okay. So I switched entirely to goat cheese because I love it and it meets my needs. Okay. You can do goat's milk feta or goat cheese. It did not interrupt my weight loss at all. So that's why I'm telling you this is like what worked for me. And there are some people, if they're really into what I'm telling you, they're going to say, oh, no goat cheese, no cheese at all. But because I needed cheese, like, I know it's dysfunctional, but I needed cheese. And so goat, if you get a goat-based cheese or a sheep's-based cheese, it's much better for you than cow-based cheese. Does that make sense? Okay. If you don't like goat cheese, try feta cheese and try to get, a sheep's milk cheese as opposed to a dairy cheese. And again, so if your line that you can't cross is cheese, if that's your line, what I would ask you is eat as little of it as you can. Okay, so instead of eating, I don't know how you do with cheese, but like I cut a slice of cheese about that thick. I'm not shy, right? So instead of eating like the whole brick of cheese, cut a piece off, you know what I mean? Or start to slice it more thinly, is what I would say. Okay, so cheese is no good, no processed food, no margarine, no potatoes. Potatoes are the worst. They're the worst vegetable. They're all acid. No French fries, no mashed potatoes, no baked potatoes. A baked potato with butter and bacon and sour cream and chives is one of the worst things you can eat. It will make you fat. Is that the craziest thing? When I was growing up, my mom went through a phase where all she ate were baked potatoes. She went on this baked potato diet. So it was like baked potato this, and baked potato that, and baked potato this, and baked potato that. No potatoes. Doesn't matter whether they're organic or not. No potatoes. I know. You can do sweet potatoes, but not often. I do one a week because I love a good sweet potato. And for me, part of what I look at is sweet potatoes are so rich in antioxidants, and because aging is one of my concerns, my family doesn't really age well. And so I'm kind of obsessed with making sure that I eat the foods that support the maintenance of collagen in my skin. And so sweet potatoes do that. So I'm not giving up my once a week sweet potato because it's good for my skin. Okay. Bye-bye peanut butter. Bye peanut butter. I don't love you anymore, peanut butter. Butter and corn oil. Gone. No corn oil. Now yogurt's an interesting case. Okay, so technically yogurt is off the table too. Okay, what I would say is, again, if yogurt is the line that you can't cross, like you won't be able to do this if you can't have yogurt, then minimal yogurt. Okay, instead of eating a whole container of Fage in the morning, take 2 scoops and mix it with some blueberries and some raspberries. Mix it with an alkaline food, and your berries are all alkaline. And so that way you're going to at least be tempering some of the acidity with the alkaline. Does that make sense? Almond butter is good because almonds are good. Cashews are not great. And so here's where vegans, it's really funny. Vegans are not automatically alkaline. They're eating a lot of fruits and vegetables like potatoes that they shouldn't be eating. They're eating cashews and cashew butter, which is acidic and fattening. And so you have to be careful. Almond butter is okay. And so if you like almond butter, don't take that out of your diet. Almond milk is okay. Almonds are good for you. They're one of the best sources of fat and protein that you can eat. Dauphine can't do it because they give him canker sores. Yeah, vegans, don't hold vegans up and go, oh, they're doing everything perfectly. Vegans will tell you they're doing everything perfectly because to them doing it perfectly means they're not eating animal fat or animal meat. But that's not perfect. Perfect is alkaline. So you can really only judge how you're doing based on the results of your alkalinity test. So here are my, rubber hits the road tips. You ready? I know. Well, I told you some of this was going to piss you off. Like if you're a potato-aholic, this is going to be a really shitty long road for you. But what I would say, again, what I would say is eat 1 potato a week. Eat 1 sweet potato a week. Eat avocados every day. So the things I eat every single day, I try to get garlic in every day. I try to eat a variety of fruits and vegetables, especially berries, every day. I eat, I think I said avocado already, every day. I eat a banana every day. Bananas are one of the best alkaline fruits for you. They're full of potassium and magnesium. That's what we need as we get older. One of the reasons that we suffer so much going through menopause is menopause depletes us of magnesium, calcium, and potassium. And so and by the way, did you know that when you are highly acidic, that your body actually leaches calcium from your bones because calcium alkalizes your system? Your body actually tries to regulate its own pH when you're too acidic. And so it leaches calcium from your bones. Why do you think there's so many people now who've been on Atkins all this time who are now showing up with osteoporosis? Because they lost the weight, but their body is so acidic that it's now leaching calcium from their bones to maintain a proper pH balance. So you won one battle, but you lost the big one, because now, I mean, you can't fix your bones. If you end up with osteoporosis, you are screwed. You know what I mean? I mean, that is a battle we can't win. Okay, it's true, you guys. That's the number one reason. Actually, this number one reason to let go of soda and to alkalize your body, because an acidic environment forces your body to leach calcium from your bones. Yeah, so you got to start little by little, okay, and see what you like, and start getting creative with it a little bit. If you love hummus, I like pretzels, okay, that's one of my little weaknesses too. And by the way, I've eaten a lot of pretzels going through this whole thing, because if I want something crunchy, a pretzel, like one of those big sourdough hard pretzels, is like really fulfilling to me, and it hasn't impacted my weight loss at all. And dip your pretzels in your hummus. In fact, if you want to get really exciting, crush up a bunch of fresh garlic, put it into your hummus, and then eat that with a pretzel. Or like some of those pretzel sticks. Fun, right? Super, super good. And honestly, again, at the end of that, I'm not hungry anymore. The hummus has your fat and your protein. You got a little bit of crunch from your pretzels. You put your superfood garlic in there. So now your body is like loving you because it's got all of those antioxidants. So I have started my kids on this, yes, but not in a crazy way, because I want my kids to be kids. And this is kind of an adult diet. Do you know what I mean? But they are eating an avocado every morning with me for breakfast. I have taught them the hummus and garlic and pretzel trick for a snack. I'm trying to get them away from refined white carbs and more toward complex carbohydrates, and I'm trying to get them to eat more bananas. So those are some of the things that I'm doing. So Rona's asking, are pretzels okay? I don't know if technically they're okay. Is it Rona or Rona? I want to make sure I pronounce it right. I don't know if they're technically okay, like by the book, but I love pretzels, and because I have to live this way, I'm like, I love a pretzel. I'm going to eat a pretzel and I'm going to dip it in my hummus. And it works for me. So Karina's asking, how do you eat figs? Oh my God, Karina, I'm about to change your life. Are you ready? And you guys get excited, because if you have a fig tree, or if you have a Trader Joe's or Whole Foods, they're about to start getting their figs in. So here's what you do. Are you ready? And it's totally alkaline. Best dessert. Are you ready? Okay. So you take your figs and you slice your figs. And in your saucepan, you put just a touch of extra virgin olive oil, and you put your figs down, and just on low heat, you let them cook a little bit, and you're trying to like caramelize them, okay? Now, if you want, you can add a little bit of agave or a little bit of raw honey to that to sweeten the oil, and that way when you caramelize it, it's going to get like this kind of sweet crust on it, okay? Cook your figs down just on low heat, and you can turn them over just to check, right, that they're getting a little bit of a crust on it. And then when they're just to that point where they've caramelized a little bit on the bottom, I take them off the heat. And if you go to Trader Joe's or a Whole Foods, they have something called balsamic glaze. Have you seen this? It's like a reduced, little bit sweetened balsamic vinegar. Just drizzle that over your honey olive oil figs. It is one of the best desserts you will ever have, especially if they're in season, completely alkaline. And in fact, the balsamic is going to work as an alkalizing agent. You will love me for that one. Now, I mean, you could take that to a whole crazy level, right? It's actually really yummy with a little bit of feta cheese sprinkled on it. I know it sounds weird, but because you have the balsamic and the extra virgin olive oil, sprinkling just a little bit of feta cheese over your figs, you'll have like the sweet and the salty, which I like that combination. So good. Well, you know, I mean, I started to find some fun, kind of dumb recipes, you know, like things that are easy, but things that really maximize flavor. And especially because I'm a sweet person, I like dessert. And so having the figs, cooking the figs down that way. You can also put your figs on the grill. If your figs are big enough, you can put them on the grill. So good. So all summer long, you're going to be having these like honey balsamic cooked figs with your, it's so good. Okay, so here are the 10 tips really, really quick. So good. And you can, I mean, there's so many different things you can do with figs. And you can just eat them raw too. They're so good for you. Figs are a superfood. So if you don't have a friend with a tree, again, I have a friend with a tree, but if you don't, go to a farmer's market or go to Trader Joe's. They'll have the big ones for you. And Jessica's asking, have you heard of avocado chocolate pudding? Actually, I haven't heard of that, Jessica, but I will tell you that avocado in your smoothies makes them thick, and you don't necessarily taste it. So if you want to do a beautiful, like, nice smoothie with almond milk and your berries and all of that, and then put a little bit of, like, a couple slices of avocado in it, it's actually going to give it a really nice creamy texture and give you all the, the health benefits of the avocado, but you really won't taste it. It'll just be kind of like smooth and thick. So good. Oh my gosh, well, you guys are all over that avocado chocolate pudding. So can we put that recipe in the group? I would really love that so that we all have access to that. I think that would be really, really cool. That's really cool. Okay, so here's the 10 rules, just to kind of cycle through it quickly. And then I want to make a little bit of time for your questions. We're probably going to end at about 6:30 tonight, just so you know. Okay. Number 1, food is fuel. It is, as I said in the blog, it's not your lover. It's not going to mend your broken heart. You have to eat food in order to move so that your body doesn't collapse. You have to start to look at food this way. And I'm telling you, this is like kind of the mental secret to it all. Food is just fuel. You have to find enjoyment in other ways in your life. I mean, that is the reality of the situation. And so if you're using food for emotional nourishment, you got to stop that right now. You got to stop it. If you're acidic, you won't lose weight. And so I would highly encourage you, if you guys live close to me, I would just have you come to my house and I'd give you the strips. I'd have you go pee in my bathroom. Let me see your strip. Test yourself. That's the first step to figure out how acidic you actually are. If you're severely acidic, I would recommend a really nice detox for you for 3 or 5 days of really focusing on, alkalizing. I'm going to give you some quick, easy tips to start. Only care about your pH level. Stop thinking about calories. Make sure you're taking 1 to 2 teaspoons of apple cider vinegar a day with water. And here's the thing, and again, this is just what worked for me, so take it for what it's worth. I did it first thing in the morning before I ate anything, and I still do, and I do it last thing at night before I go to bed. But make sure you brush your teeth afterward. So I get up in the morning, I take my ACV, I don't eat for about half an hour, and then I have avocado. When I get home at night, which is usually about 6:30 to 7 o'clock, I have a very small meal. I wait about an hour and a half. I take my ACV before I go to bed. Does that make sense? Every single day. Do not miss the ACV. The ACV is the secret to all of this. The ACV is what's going to cut your appetite. It's going to cut your appetite in half. I'm not kidding you. Even my husband's doing it. It's cut his appetite. The ACV will keep you from overeating. It revs your metabolism. It burns the fat from the inside. And it's not just me telling you this. Dr. Oz has been all over this for years. Oprah Winfrey had all of this on her show. I mean, it has been there. It's just we're not, as a society, we're not doing this because we've bought into these like low carb paleo, like we think that that's not the way, but lots of people have been saying this. You need the Bragg's or at least an apple cider vinegar with the mother. You have to have with the mother. That milky, kind of dirty, you got to shake your bottle and make sure you're drinking it. If it's clear, it's not good. Okay, so it's not just any vinegar. If you don't like the apple cider vinegar, here's another tip. Ready? On Amazon, Bragg's actually makes juice with apple cider vinegar in it, and you can't taste the apple cider vinegar. And there's hardly any calories in it. So I don't use it because I actually like the ACV. I feel so clean after I take it. But I have friends who swear by the grape juice. I guess their grape is like the best flavor. And so if you drink half of that in the morning and half of it before bed, you're not going to taste the ACV. It's put out by Bragg's, so it has the mother in it. I'm telling you, I've tried it, the Concord grape. You do not taste the ACV. Your fiance won't taste it on your breath. You aren't going to taste it, and you're still getting all the benefits of it. I tried the pills, the apple cider vinegar pills. They did not work for me. So I'll just share that with you. They did not have the same effect. Okay? Now, ACV is not going to hurt you. It's not going to hurt your digestive tract or your esophagus or anything as long as you take it with water. What you don't want to do is just sit there and drink the ACV out of the bottle. It has to be diluted, okay? It's really, really, really important. Please eat an avocado every day. It's going to keep your skin youthful. It's going to help prevent split ends on your hair. You should be putting avocado oil on your ends. If you're an Aromagic and you got the avocado carrier oil, that should be in your shower. And you should always be putting avocado on the ends of your hair. You need to move your body every day. I said this in the blog. We have been raised to think that unless we run and do high impact exercise, that it's not good enough. You just need to move your body. I dance for fun, right? I belly dance for fun, and I dance around my house in general. I lift free weights, and I try to walk as much as I can. I do not run. I do not do heavy exertion. I can't do it. It's not good for my joints. And so I just want you to know, just move your body. Stop thinking you have to join a gym and do some radical thing. Move your body, eat an avocado, drink your apple cider vinegar. If that's all you do, and I make a promise to you tonight, I make a promise because I know where you are. If all you do is start using apple cider vinegar, move your body more tomorrow than you did today, really, even if that's all you did, and you start to eat avocado and bananas, which are going to alkalize your diet, maybe do the alkalized water filter. If you just do that, I promise you, you will lose weight. I promise you that your body will become more alkaline, even if you did nothing else, okay? Don't count carbs. It's a waste of time. Carbs don't matter and calories don't matter. What matters is whether your food is acidic or alkaline, okay? So here's one of the main rules of this whole thing, okay? If you don't burn the calories that you eat, you will gain weight. Like, that is just law, right? That's physics. That's not Athena. That's not, that's not anybody. That's just law. So I'm not very active after about 7 o'clock at night. I'm just not active. So my smallest meal of the day is between 6 and 7, and I don't eat after 7 p.m. If I'm going to go be active, let's say I'm going to a concert, then I let myself have a slightly bigger dinner because I know I'm going to burn it off. You should never get into bed after a meal. What's your body going to do with those calories? It's going to convert them immediately to fat. And it'll be fat, stored fat, that you won't be able to burn off, okay? So you need sleep, and you cannot eat a big meal if you're not going to move. Does that make sense? Okay. And then no caffeine. Caffeine and soda are keeping us fat. They are keeping us fat. Drink decaf coffee, drink herbal tea or green tea. And then the last rule for you is you have to take your time. I gave myself a year. It took the whole year. And I was consistent even when I traveled. Now, I mean, I went to some fun places this year. When I was in New Orleans, I ate, but I was still conscious of it. I didn't eat all the cheese. I didn't eat all the bread. I didn't eat all the half rack of ribs. You know what I mean? Like, I was conscious of what was on the table, but I did eat all of my spinach salad and all of the red onions. You know what I mean? Or like all of the garlic sauce. I looked at my plate and said, what here is really going to help me and what here is really going to hurt me? And so I'm not going to eat the stuff that's going to hurt me. And I'm going to focus on filling up my stomach with the stuff that's going to help me. This is how you go out and eat, because you don't want to go out and eat and embarrass yourself and look like you can't eat or you're not going to eat. Thank you for that. So dark chocolate. So I'm not a fan so much anymore. I don't know. It's like my palate maybe. And also because dark chocolate now tastes very acidic to me. Dark chocolate is acidic. But a little bit, why not? I mean, if you ask me, can I have a little bit of this or a little bit of that or one potato a week? The answer is yes, yes, and yes. And in fact, if you love potatoes and you love bread, I would absolutely insist that you have those things at least once or twice a week. Because if you don't feel deprived, the weight's going to come off anyway. And you're going to be like, I can live like this. I can go out to dinner once a week. I can have a dessert. I like dessert. That's what I'm saying. I had Cheetos last night. And I had a piece of, like a very small piece of cake this weekend. But I sure did eat it, and I didn't gain any weight. Now, if I was to eat a potato every day and a slice of cake every day, I wouldn't be sitting here having this conversation with you, because I wouldn't have anything to tell you. So it's moderation. I mean, as I think with everything is moderation. So what's on your mind? What questions do you have? What can I tell you? Yeah, I mean, you can't be a cake slut. Yeah, so let's talk about foods, for example. Oh, actually, I think olives are great. I don't think they're, you shouldn't have them all the time because they're very salty, and too much sodium can be not good for your system. But I don't think olives are going to hurt you. So here's like day in the life. Ready? So it depends on if I'm making my food or if I'm going out to eat. Most of the time during the day, I try to eat a salad or some kind of protein-based meal. So today, for example, let's talk about today. We ordered Indian food here at the office. And I love Indian food, and I love naan, and I love rice, okay? But I can't have that. So I ordered a curry, a cauliflower curry, and a chicken tikka masala, which is my favorite Indian dish. And so what I had for breakfast, I got up this morning, I had my ACV I was up early, it was at 5:30 this morning. So I had my ACV at about 5:45, 6 a.m. And I tested my pH this morning. So I was really nicely right in between acidic and alkaline. So I got up this morning, I had my ACV, waited about half an hour, I had my avocado and about half a cup of regular coffee with creamer. Okay, so like the nasty coffee mate, okay? I'm not perfect, but it has not inhibited my weight loss at all. And so then that lasted me, and then I had a banana, probably about 2 hours later I had a banana, like a nice big banana, because again, those are alkalizing. And then when I got to the office, we ordered lunch, and I had a bowl about this big of chicken tikka masala and curry cauliflower. And I had a piece of naan that was about this big, maybe about that big, okay? Just to kind of scoop up my sauce, because I like that. I mean, again, food should be fun and you should enjoy it. I loved my food. I didn't feel deprived at all. Now, I didn't eat the rice, right? I didn't eat the rice. But I ate a little bit of naan, and I had mostly, I mean, if you looked at my plate, it was 90% lean protein chicken. It was a curry yogurt sauce with some curry cauliflower. And now it's about 6:30, right? So I'm going to go home and have a small meal. I'm probably going to have a little bit of a spinach salad that was left over from my dinner last night with some red onions. It had cranberries on it and like a balsamic vinaigrette. That's probably going to be my dinner tonight. And then I will have my ACV before I go to bed, and then I will go to sleep. I have had 2 bottles of that Sea Botanicals fermented water. I had a ginger one and a turmeric one today. I have had 2 cups of herbal tea, and that's today. But my lunch was actually bigger than usual. I mean, for me to eat this much is like double a portion size. So I felt a little heavy afterward. My stomach was a little upset, but I enjoyed it. So that might not be the sexiest meal for you. Oh, here's the other thing. I love pistachios. So when my kids are having like chips and crap that I can't have, I get myself about 4 ounces of pistachios. And I sit there and I crack my shells and I throw them in the, while we're watching TV. And again, I feel like I'm having a snack. Pistachios are quite alkaline. I don't have them every day, but I love pistachios. And so it's like finding the things that you love and ways to sneak them in. And also letting yourself have a couple days a week where you just eat whatever you want. But just watch your portions and try to do as well as you can. Popcorn is iffy because corn is acidic. But again, that's okay. Once in a while to have a 4 or 6 ounce little, those little snack bags or whatever, having one of those is not a big deal. I keep the pretzels in the house all the time because that was kind of my go-to when I just needed crunch and texture. And then the hummus keeps a lot of protein. I am almost completely organic. I don't buy food or produce that is not organic. That's the other part of alkaline, because foods that are organic tend to be more alkaline. Foods that are not organic tend to be more acidic, even if it's an alkaline food. Does that make sense? So the kombucha that I drink is Synergy. That's my favorite blend. They have one called Guava Goddess that I love because guava is really good for your digestive tract, and I tend to have, not so much now, but I have always had kind of a little bit of a IBS. And so guava is really good for that. I also love their cranberry. It's like Cranberry Bliss, I think, which actually doubles as a treatment for your urinary tract. I had before this, by the way, since I've been alkaline. Are you ready for this? I was almost living on antibiotics because of chronic bladder infections. I was taking low dose antibiotics, sometimes for weeks at a time. Do you know that since last year, I have not taken antibiotics or any other treatment for bladder infections? Not even once. Cheers to that. To the point where my neurologist's office called and I said, no, I'm good. And they said, okay, well, would you like to schedule a follow-up appointment? And I said, no, in fact, I have had no urinary discomfort whatsoever. And when I talked to a doctor friend of mine, they said, it's because you're alkaline. bladder infections only happen in an acidic environment. If you're not acidic, you'll never have a bladder infection ever again. What? I mean, I have had chronic bladder infections since I was 18. I'm going to be 44 in a couple months. Are you kidding me? And how long did I live on antibiotics? It's hard for me to say this, but it's true, but it's hard for me because it makes me upset. We are stuck in a loop, guys. We are stuck in a loop. And you don't want to think it's all related, but I do believe that there is a system that is designed to keep us sick, and keep us kind of indentured to the healthcare system. And so it's time to disrupt the paradigm. But you have to want it. I mean, that the reality of all of this is, and here's the thing, if it was just about weight, I wouldn't have, this wouldn't have worked for me. Because I like to look good, but honestly, I'm not motivated by that. I mean, whether somebody thinks I look cute or not, I don't really care. I like to feel attractive, but anyway, if it was just about the weight, it would not have worked. For me, it was about feeling better. I have no 3, 4, 5 p.m. sluggishness because I'm off of caffeine. I mean, like, what? And in place of soda, which I wanted so bad, the kombucha is carbonated. So it still feels like I'm having my little carbonated fix, but I'm not pouring acid into my system. And that's the difference, right? That's a great question that Vonnie's asking. Can you smudge your solar plexus? You know, one of the things you can do, your solar plexus is a bright golden disc. It's about 2 finger widths above your belly button. So here's my belly button. So it's right here. And one of the things you can do is just visualize sending healing light to your solar plexus. You know, just sending love and support. And you can talk to your body and saying, I'm making these different choices to start aligning ourselves with better health. And that's going to look like losing 30 pounds. That's going to look like not having a dip at 4 p.m. That's going to look like no more mood swings, even though I'm, menopausal. That's going to look like better sleep at night. That's going to look like my skin not sagging. My skin has tightened. How do you lose almost 35 pounds? My skin has never been tighter. That's the other thing. The weight you're going to lose with this is not going to make your skin sag. It's going to make your skin tighten, which is the crazy part. And there's no bloating. Well, here's the other thing. Are you guys ready for this? And Lucy, I want to come to that in just a second because I'm going to talk about tools. So here's the other crazy part. I could always tell when my period was coming because I was bloated. Does that sound like a familiar story to you? Do you know that I can no longer tell when my cycle is coming because I don't bloat with PMS? I haven't gained a single pound of period weight in a year. I'm not kidding, guys. This is crazy stuff. Well, and thank you for noticing. It's been quite a journey, and I feel really, really fortunate. And it was funny because one of my friends actually asked me, she's like, did you get some work done? This was one of the moms at my kids' school. And she's like, you can tell me. And I looked at her and I said, I literally said this. I was like, that's really cute. I have not taken a day off in 6 years. I mean, like really taken a day off. So when would I have had work done? Like if I actually had plastic surgery and liposuction and all this stuff, when would that have happened? I can't even take a day off, let alone, a week or two to recover. It's like, no, the weight that you lose by alkalizing tightens up your skin. I mean, I have no fat here, and I've had 2 kids. I mean, I had a C-section. I still have a little tiny pouch because I'm sorry, but you're not going to have kids and not have a pouch somewhere. I still have my little kangaroo pouch, but I mean, it's not nearly what it was. Not nearly, darling. No, I mean, seriously, when she asked me that, I was like, for the love of God, I mean, maybe celebrities can go and do stuff like that, but the rest of us, no. If Mama was going to lose weight, it was going to be by changing stuff around. Yes, Veronica. I mean, look, I was actually worried because I had a friend of mine say, look, once you're past 40, if you lose weight, your skin's going down. And I thought, well, shit. I want to lose the weight, but I don't want to look like a bag, right? And so the more I learned about this, There are stories online of women in their 50s, 60s, 70s alkalizing, and actually the fine lines and wrinkles just disappearing because now they're replacing all of what they were eating with these really healthy, beautiful fats that actually support the creation of collagen. So you're seeing these women who are like more gorgeous than ever, and their skin is plumping up, and it's like, you know what? This is real deal stuff. This is like revolutionary. Yes, if you eat almonds and you eat avocados, that those two things are going to seriously change the texture of your skin. And if you drink enough water and enough kombucha, you're going to see a huge difference. I'm telling you, seriously. But you know, it depends on how you lose your weight. Again, if you lose your weight too fast, that's why I said it took me a year. If you think this is going to happen for you in a month, then you're a better woman than I am. But I also wanted to keep it off. I didn't want to yo-yo anymore. I've yo-yoed my whole life. I'm not doing it. No, Serena's asking no meat at all. No, I eat meat 2 to 4 times a week. Chicken and beef. And then I'll usually have some kind of shellfish because I like shrimp and stuff. Like, especially if I go have a salad, I just like shrimp on my salad. I still eat pasta 1 to 2 times a week. I just don't eat much of it. Like maybe I eat about that much. So if I order a pasta dish, I eat about that much. And then what I tell the cook is put lots of veggies on my pasta. You know what I mean? Alternatives to kombucha, it's a great question. Here's the alternative to kombucha. Don't do it. You can actually make your own kombucha. But you don't need kombucha. You do need the apple cider vinegar. That's the only thing I would say. But what you can do is buy it by the gallon. It's much, much cheaper. I actually do this. I'm a thrifty girl. In case you haven't noticed, I'm actually really thrifty. It's probably my Greek immigrant roots. I buy the gallon, and then I have a little tiny bottle in my cabinet where I get my herbs and stuff, and I refill my little bottle with my gallon because you save about $10. I think the gallon, you guys have to check me on this, but I think it's like $20-something on Amazon, and you can get free shipping. And so don't skimp on the apple cider vinegar. If you don't do the kombucha, I understand that, but don't skimp on that. Joy says she needs my eyeliner. It's Maybelline. My liquid eyeliner is Maybelline. So is my mascara. You know how I learned that? My mom is a cosmetologist, an esthetician. And growing up, she told me, you'll never find better makeup than Maybelline. So my lipstick, my eyeliner, and my mascara are all Maybelline. Yes, you can eat salmon, just not all the time. You know, you just don't want to do it all the time. Okay, so let me walk you through just a couple things here that I want you guys to see. So there's a section on the website. My team will link to it for you. There's a section on the website right now of all weight loss products. Okay, everything that I have used, everything that Sage Goddess produces. My Blue Apatite necklace and the Blue Apatite bracelet, that's the stone of weight loss. I did use Blue Apatite when I was doing this. The one thing I want to tell you is, I know Maybelline's not great for you, but I use it. I'm not perfect, guys. I am not holding myself up as like the person who does everything perfectly. And partly it's because Maybelline is less expensive. So my whole life has just been more affordable. But anyway, so that's for that. So the code, the 17% off code, I know you guys get 15%, but summer, that code expires at midnight, and there's no 17% coming for a long time. So if there is anything that you want, you should do it before midnight tonight. Code summer is going to expire at midnight tonight, and that's the best code we have for a while. Okay, a couple things I want you to see. This is in the shop. You need this. Okay, you need this so bad. This is your dry brush. Once you start to lose your weight, it fits right on your hand like this, and you scrub, and it takes off. It actually helps with the jigglies. It helps with the jigglies right here. It takes off cellulite. So what you do, I can't believe I'm showing you this. In the shower, you go like this and you pull up from your knee to the back of your butt. And it actually will sculpt your butt. You need this. This is the best thing. And what I love is a little handheld thing. So they have the big dry brushes, but so right now you can only get naked, I think, with the dry brush, unless there's a drop-down menu. I can't remember how we did it. That's the number one thing you need. And Naked has all the essential oils, including birch and others that actually reduce cellulite. Like, it's a big deal. We actually have little Blue Apatite eggs in the shop too, in case you want appetite, because it's the weight loss stone. Did you know that Sodalite actually regulates your metabolism? So we have Sodalite, some Sodalite necklaces in that section. The best possible pairing would be Sodalite with your Blue Apatite. And it's beautiful too. Isn't that pretty? I don't have very many of these, so I just wanted to show that to you. Shape Perfume is my newest weight loss blend. It's gorgeous. I don't know if you guys love Shape, but Shape's one of my favorite perfumes. It's an essential oil blend that supports the revving of your metabolism, and it comes with a green apatite palm stone, which is, again, a weight loss stone, and the others. You should be anointing either with Shed. Shed is the business. Shed actually inhibits your appetite. And all you have to do is smell Shed. But it's even better if you put it on. You should be anointing with your essential oils for weight loss about half an hour before you eat, every time you eat a meal. And what it actually does is it programs you. So it's almost like it's a Pavlovian response, right? You smell those essential oils and you know that you're going to eat less, but they also, just the smell of them and the way they interact with your body chemistry, they inhibit the appetite. So Shed or Shape, they're both good. I wouldn't say one is better than the other. Shed has a more of a medicinal smell, and Shape has more of a perfume type smell, so that's something for you to think about. And then some people like to work with a candle, so we have the Metamorphosis candle, which is about changing your life. So you can actually create a whole altar for your weight loss. And every day you can go and meditate at your altar, pull up your hologram of your ideal weight, project that image out, focus on that image, call that image in, right? All those things. Okay, so those are primarily the tools I would point you to, but the Blue Apatite is no joke. And Shed and Shape are no joke. Shed actually has, I think Shed has something like 600 different testimonials of weight loss. Dramatic weight loss. I mean, people have lost hundreds of pounds using Shed. So Shed is one of the best in my personal opinion. Yeah, so I actually use the dry breast in the shower. So I soap it up and I get in there and I scrub. And I don't have cellulite and I don't have jigglies. But I think, and I was starting to have jigglies. So it's not like I didn't ever have them. I was starting to have those little, that funky stuff right here. I started using 5-pound weights, 20 reps in the morning, 20 at night, and then I started dry brushing right here, and the jigglies are gone. Okay, so the apple cider vinegar, 2 to 4 ounces of water. You can add a little bit of agave if you like. You can add a little bit of lemon juice. And by the way, if you absolutely can't afford apple cider vinegar, and I get it, like if it's just too much, lemon water or baking soda in your water. Both of those are going to alkalize you. It's a 1/4 teaspoon of baking soda to about 6 to 8 ounces of water. That will instantly alkalize you. And it's cheap, and you probably already have it. The best option outside of apple cider vinegar is lemon. Slice a lemon in half, squeeze it in your water. If Shed is sold out, I will make sure that we re-up it for you right after we're done. I didn't know it was sold out, so I'm sorry about that. Yeah, so if you start, but here's the thing, it's never too late. I think a lot of us women, we start to see the jigglies and we're like, well, I'm getting old. No, you got to fight that crap. You got to get in there and go, nope, I'm going to start lifting a little bit of weight. I'm going to alkalize. I'm going to scrub it, and I'm going to stick it, and I'm going to get it off. Oh, there is 20 sheds left. Okay, good. Yeah, no, by and large, I try to be really conscious in the products that I use. I really, really try. And I think that's good. I mean, if you look at it and you think about the fact that if you try to be good 80% of the time, using the right products, eating the right foods, and that's actually the rule. So this is the one thing I'm going to leave you with. Are you ready? Oh, so the weight loss gemstone set. Let me just answer that really quickly. So if you're not setting up an altar, by the way, you remember that gemstones work just by being in your space. So they don't actually have to do anything for you. But what I did is every morning I would meditate, 2 of the stones in one hand, 2 of the stones in the other. And I would meditate and close my eyes. And again, it's about visualization, imagining myself at the ideal weight. Your stones for weight loss are calling in strength for you. They're calling in leadership for you. They're calling in empowerment and healing for you. That's the energy of the stones. And so they're supporting you while you vision and create a new template for your life, and this really is about complete transformation for you. I mean, metamorphosis is no joke. So either hold 2 in each hand and meditate each morning. Maybe you can meditate before your apple cider vinegar or right afterward. Or set up an altar and just put the stones around your candle. But it's nice if you touch them and interact with them. You can also sleep with them inside of your pillowcase. You can carry them in your pocket or in your bra, because they become reminders to you too, like, hey, we're doing this work, and this is my reminder. I'm committed. I'm going to stay the course. I'm going to keep doing this every single day. And the results will keep you focused. They really, really will. The more results you see, the easier it will be for you to drink that damn apple cider vinegar every day. But when you drink it, think of me. I'm drinking it too. I mean, we're all doing this together. And when you get discouraged, Here's this beautiful group. Let's go in there and love each other and say, you can do it. Maybe today was a shitty day. You know, maybe something happened at work and you ate a Twinkie. Tomorrow's a new day. You got to get back up and you got to get back on the bandwagon and you got to do it. Because there's no easy way through this. But I promise you, if you're consistent, you'll see results. Carry your stones. Do the thing. I know we are all connected and we can support each other. So thank you. I know we went kind of like being over time, but there was so much to tell you. Maybe we do a part 2 where we talk about recipes and you guys share your process and we all talk through those things together. So this is recorded. We're going to put the archive up for you right now, so you can always, if you came in late, you can always watch the recording again later. But I want you to know how grateful I am for you. I am here to support you. You can do this. It doesn't cost a lot of money. All it requires is your patience and your diligence and your commitment. And if you're tired of where you've been and you're ready to go somewhere else, I will hold your hand all the way through. And then you know what I want to do? Here's what I really want to do. We're 2 days away from June 1st. So I want to set an intention with you tonight. Close your eyes if you want to do this with me. I am setting the intention tonight that on June 1st, 2018, 6/1/2018, that we are going to gather together, either in an online forum or a live class, and we are going to celebrate your transformation. I will schedule it. We will do it. It's a date. Guides, Great Spirit, I ask you to surround each woman who's watching tonight, to hold her hand and support her as she makes these changes to be in deeper alignment with her ideal weight and her best health. Help her to see that the next year ahead can be completely different for her, that she doesn't have to suffer or struggle, and that this can be easy and painless, really, and beautiful for her, that she can reorient herself to her body and to the way she interacts with food. I ask that you bless her with ideal weight loss, and that it happened easily and effortlessly for her, and that she is reminded always that every small change she makes in her life can have a huge impact. And so together we say, Amen, Aho, and so it is. June 1st, 2018. It's a date. I'm high-fiving you right now. Woo! We're going to do it. We're going to do it. And we will celebrate. All right, girls, I love you. I will see you soon. Thank you so much for being here tonight.